Good afternoon. This is the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners for October 3rd, 2017. I'm Commissioner Bud Blake, the chair of the board this year. I'd like to start off by doing introductions. To my left is Commissioner Gary Edwards. To my right is Commissioner John Hutchings. To his right is Labanita Bomar, the clerk of the board. And we have the county manager, Romero Chavez. And to his right is the assistant county manager, budget officer, Robin Campbell. With that in mind, I'll ask Commissioner Edwards to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
If you'd join me in the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so for today's agenda, is there a motion for today's agenda?
I move to approve the Tuesday, October 3rd, 2017 agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve Tuesday, October 3rd, 2017 agenda. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and that motion carries. And board meeting minutes for September 26, 2017.
I move to approve the board meeting minutes from September 26, 2017.
Aye. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the board meeting minutes for
Aye.
September 26, 2017. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries as well. So we're going to jump right into it in terms of the next step, which is the opportunity for the public to address the board. And so the rules kind of go like this. The house rules are such that on the wall over here to my left, your right, is the 3-minute countdown. It gets to 0, you hear this kind of microwave sound like, you're done. However, if you're about midway through the thought process of another sentence or a little bit of a thought, I'll let you finish, but I'll start asking you to finish up, and I won't let you go too much further than that. So what happens is you sign in, first come serve, and for those who just walked through the door and you did not get your name on the list, I'll do an all call for those who might want to raise their hand and come to the board, come to the podium, and I'll get you caught up at that point in time. So I'll just start with those who signed in first, and the first person I have is Glenn Morgan. Hello, sir. How you doing there?
Doing well, as always. It's an honor to be here and speaking with you. And for the record, my name is Glenn Morgan. I live between Rochester and Tenino.
Okay.
And I want to come here and talk. I had just written an article here a couple days ago about the Latin cider mill case. It's the second article I've written just about this issue, and generated a lot of interest in the community. I had a lot more feedback on that recently than I had expected. And I think the one thing about this case, I realize that the commissioners only have so much control over what the sheriff's office or the prosecutor's office is going to be doing at any given time. But as this case kind of advances through district court, it really does illustrate to some extent a breakdown of some of the checks and balances that we expect to have in our system in the county. And it's a reminder that we have those checks and balances for a reason. And I really think that it merits reviewing to some extent some of the priorities of government that we have in law enforcement. I've testified before this commission for almost 7 years in a row that the prosecutor's office and the sheriff's office deserve more of a percentage of the budget and a little bit more support from the commission historically. But with some of the recent budget cuts, I realize that we've had to cut in those departments. But I think one of the issues there is that they need to stick to actually doing things that the priorities of government would be consistent with what we would expect. I don't know that taking the Latin cider mills goats that are visited and seen by hundreds of people every day would be a higher priority than getting rid of some of the people that are breaking into the homes and stealing from the people where I live. And perhaps there's a little bit of a priority question that would be worth looking at there. However, it also does remind me that of conversations that we've had in the past about the Title 26 ordinance, which is certainly in the purview of this commission. And I realize that after it had been passed, some of the more odious portions of that ordinance were removed. But it may be a good idea just to reopen that. I'm always concerned when we pass ordinances that have the ability to be used or misused by other people in the community as part of a harassment strategy on their neighbors. I feel to some extent this was what kind of started down the path with the Latins case, and we do expect government to be there to be able to sort out the cranks from the truth. But it may be a good idea if we just look at some of the ordinances and possibly make sure that we aren't setting ourselves up for possible abuse of these ordinances in the future in those settings, or at least making sure that the checks and balances that we expect with both law enforcement and with the prosecutor's office and some of the other stages of government, that they're set up in a way to avoid having kind of silly situations like this happen in the future. So with that, that was all I wanted to say today. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your words, sir. Okay, so the next person I have on my list is Mr. John Pettit.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. It's been a while since I've come and visited. I have to be really frank and say that I certainly don't have quite as much finesse as Mr. Morgan. I feel like as though people that are representing government, they need to be held accountable. And at this particular point in time, I look back at my historic support of the prosecutor's office and wanting to make sure that we completely take care and fund them. You're going to be dealing with budget issues. I understand that they have a little budget glitch of their own that they need to be dealing with. Unfortunately, it means somebody at the very top apparently doesn't have any connection to it. Of course, the prosecutor's representative came here maybe 5 minutes late, but they did get here. The commission's almost important to the prosecutor's office. Certainly has to be when it comes to funding. Now, stating that, under the circumstances of what I've been watching lately, we apparently feel like as though it's more important to fund a department to go after somebody who actually has been doing a fine job of taking care of the community and providing services to the community for a long, long time, has a phenomenal history, and that's the Latins. They're my neighbors. And watching them get attacked when they have clear information that after a report was made by the sheriff's office, that in fact the information provided indicates quite to the contrary what the suggestion is, that the Latins have done anything wrong. Now I take this once again back to the old days and say the buck stops here. Well, in this particular case, the buck has to stop at Mr. Thunheim. It has to stop for not having his budget working properly or mismanaging the funds, however that occurred. It has to stop when he has people underneath him that are taking actions against people that have to be considered gold star residents of Thurston County for a lifetime. So I will make an open statement here. I think it's time for Mr. Thunheim to step down. He's clearly not able to run his office. He can't even get a deputy prosecutor here in time to start a meeting. He can't function with the budget. He can't function keeping his staff in line with taking actions. I suppose some would say it's more important to go after someone accused of maybe hurting a goat because most people don't understand farms. But, you know, it's okay to let sex offenders run the streets. It's okay to have burglary and drugs run rampant. No, we need new priorities. We need a new prosecutor, it looks like. So I would suggest maybe the prosecutor take the message back that citizens requested they resign right away, and let's get somebody that will actually manage the office. Thank you.
Thank you for coming today. Okay, so it brings us to the point I'm just going to look out to the audience to see if there's anybody I might have omitted or changed their mind and would like to come to the podium to address the board. If so, just raise your hand and we'll bring you forward. No? Okay, we'll move on. So the next item is the county manager's update, and I'll turn to the county manager to see if he has an update for us.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'd like to follow up on public testimony you received 2 weeks ago, and it was related to a project from Verizon Wireless to install a cell phone tower in the Lawrence Lake area. You asked me to follow up with staff as to provide the status of this particular application, and I'd like to say that they are in the process of finishing the bird study that is associated with this particular project, and Verizon Wireless is hoping to submit that study to the county by the end of October of this month. So I believe they're in the process to continue with the permitting process, and I will keep you posted as new activities arises.
All righty. So, any questions of the county manager?
No.
No. Okay, consent items. There's a motion for consent items.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve consent items A through F.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve the consent items A through F. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and that motion carries. So we'll move right into department items, which is item number 4. We'll start with resource stewardship, and that would be the adoption of a 2017 update to the Thurston County Flood Hazard Mitigation Plan.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Before you today is a request to adopt the Thurston County Flood Hazard Mitigation Plan. The Flood Hazard Mitigation Plan is a critical component of our community rating system scoring process. It was developed with a contract with Thurston Regional Planning Council and facilitated by Pat Allen from the Stormwater Utility. Also involved in that process was a considerable community outreach, stakeholders, some surveys, 2 open houses, and a 13-member flood planning committee. Several of the citizen members are here today. Trish Carlson, Howard Glassstetter. Am I missing anybody else that's here on that committee? Okay, so they participated in developing this plan, and in the plan, it identifies 20 mitigation initiatives, and I want to be really clear that while those mitigation initiatives are identified, they're also clearly dependent on the available budget and staff resources to carry those out. They are not mandated requirements, but it's dependent on our community resources. With the completion of the flood hazard mitigation update, what we provide to our residents that are required to buy flood insurance within the floodplain, and that's 705 policy holders, they receive a 40% discount, which amounts to $140,000 savings for those 705 people. It is a critical component to our Class 2 rating that we received, which was a substantial improvement. It's one of the highest ratings in the nation, and we would ask the board to support this request and adopt the flood hazard mitigation plan. Questions?
All right, any questions of Jim?
No.
No.
No questions here either. Thank you very much. So is there a motion?
I move to approve and adopt the 2017 update to the Thurston County Flood Hazard Mitigation Plan.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and so your motion carries, Jim. Thank you, sir. Next, we have Public Works. It's a contract award for the Gate Biltmore Railroad salvage project, and Matt Schulzeman's going to tell us a little bit about it.
Good morning. Good afternoon,
there you go.
Commissioners. My name is Matt Unsman, Thurston County Public Works. On September 14th, a total of 6 bids were received in response to a call for sealed bids for the Gate Biltmore Railroad salvage project. The lowest bidder was from Hanson Excavation from Shelton, Washington, with a bid amount of $186,439. Construction costs will be paid using REAP funding. This project is required per the contract we entered into earlier this year with BNSF to abandon a railroad corridor between 81st Avenue, which is near Black Hills High School, and Kennydale Park on 66th Avenue. The contract work includes removing the existing steel track and timber ties. After removing the track, the contractor will also be responsible for grading the corridors so that we can have hopefully have a future trail, but most in the immediate future, maintain the trail system. If the Board of County Commissioners allows us to execute this contract, contract work could begin as soon as the end of the month and will be done by the end of the year.
All right, any questions of Matt?
No.
Gotta stop faking me out like that.
Yes. We've discussed this at length, and this includes basic road grading at the very, very end of the project to make it usable.
Correct.
All right, that's done.
I just want to be clear, there will be no paved.
There are no pavement, no,
pavement.
understood.
All right, is there a motion?
I move to award the contract for the Gate Belmore Railroad Salvage Project, CRP number 51071, to Hanson Excavation LLC of Shelton, Washington, in the amount of $146,439.33, including tax, and to authorize the interim director of Public Works to execute the contract and any change orders for this project due to unforeseen conditions only, not for changes in the scope, up to 20% of the contract, or $37,288, or an aggregate amount of $223,728.
The $146,000, that's before tax. With tax, it's $186,439.
The contract amount is $186,439.33. I believe, Commissioner, you stated $143,000.
Oh, did I? Shame on me, wind it back. Okay, including tax, got it. Thank you.
So what's the correct?
Okay, I'm starting from the top.
Okay, good.
Move to award the contract for Gate Belmore Railroad Salvage Project, CRP number 51071, to Hanson Excavation LLC of Shelton, Washington, in the amount of $186,439.33, including tax, and to authorize the interim director of Public Works to execute the contract and any change orders for this project due to unforeseen conditions only, not for changes in scope, up to 20% of the contract, $37,288, or an aggregate amount of $223,728.
Second.
Perfect.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so your motion carries, Matt.
Thanks, Commissioners.
You bet.
Thank you, Matt.
So item number 6 is the Public Health and Social Services, and we have the Gretchen Toller here to talk to us a little bit about approval of the services of County Workforce Children's Special Needs Program, huh? A contract?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi. Thank you,
Can you
Commissioners.
bring the microphone down just a tad? There you go.
Thank you for having me. My name is Gretchen Toller. I'm from Thurston County Public Health, and I'm the Maternal Child Health Coordinator. And I am here seeking approval for a 2-year agreement with Department of Social and Health Services for our workforce contract. And this contract allows our Children with Special Health Care Needs nurse, Bonnie, to assist DSHS staff in determining a parent's ability to work or participate in workforce activities through an evaluation of their child's special health care needs. Children with special health care needs are children up to age 18 that have a medical, developmental, mental health, or behavioral issue that requires specialized care. And just, I guess, along with this, we get the referrals from DSHS. She goes out and sees the family. Often these children end up then getting served through Bonnie, through the Children with Special Health Care Needs program as well. So, so she not only does this evaluation, but it also gives her an opportunity to connect the family with resources in the community that are needed.
Questions?
No.
Gretchen?
No, other than I would like to say, I'd like to thank Gretchen for all of her hard work working with our future, which is our children.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
I'm trying not to overuse it, but 30% of our population, you know, are kids, but they're 100% of our future.
There you go. She wanted to hear that. Okay.
And the special needs kids hold a special place in my heart for personal reasons.
Yeah, that's
Okay, is there a motion?
Yes, read along now. I move to approve Department of Social and Health Services County Work First Children with Special Needs Program Agreement, number 1763-91126, for the period of July 1, 2017 through June 30, 2019, for a total maximum consideration of $26,000, and to authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the agreement as well as future amendments that do not change this approved dollar amount or duration by more than 25%.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and that
Thank
motion
you.
carries.
Thank
Thank you,
you,
Gretchen.
Commissioners.
It's good.
Thank you, Gretchen.
All right. So we're going to move on to number 7, which is Central Services, and this is reject all bids and advertisement on a call for sealed bids, and I think Michael Crowe is here to talk to us about it.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Hello?
Hello.
On September 25th, Central Service had a call for sealed bids for Project 25523 Courthouse Campus Security. We received one bid, and that exceeded the engineer's estimate by $184,450. We'd like to ask the Board of County Commissioners to reject that bid and to authorize the Central Services Director to re-advertise and rebid the project.
Any questions about that? Any questions about that?
good.
You're
Got
good? Okay, well, let's do it. Is there a motion?
I move to authorize the Central Services Director to reject all bids for Facilities Project number 25523, Courthouse Campus Security, and to further authorize the Central Services Director to re-advertise and rebid the project.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and the motion carries. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Michael.
very much.
You bet. Pretty easy there. Item number 8, Commissioners and County Managers items, which is the set of public hearing approving the system of rates and charges for Thurston County, Thurston Conservation District. And that's
Thank you again, Commissioners.
Yeah, yeah.
As a matter of background, back in 2012, the state legislature added a new section to Chapter 8908 of the Revised Code of Washington, authorizing county legislative authorities to approve a system of rates and charges for conservation districts to fund activities and programs to conserve natural resources and other exercise of authority for the public health, safety, and welfare as authorized by law. The Thurston Conservation District, in cooperation with the municipalities Lacey, Olympia, Rainier, Tenino, Tumwater, and Yelm, those are the participating cities and towns. In Thurston County, the Thurston Conservation District has developed a proposed system of rates and charges that provides basic funding for the district activities within the aforementioned areas. This particular action is for your consideration to set a public hearing for you to hear testimony on the new rate structure. The Thurston Conservation District Agreement and the current rates ends at the end of this year in December 2018. So there is a need for the commissioners to consider taking an action in a particular rate structure, as well as you may consider how long the terms of this agreement will be, and that will be up to your consideration. At this point, the initial resolution, the draft resolution includes a 5-year. But again, that is the proposal before you can hear any public testimony. And I'm available to answer any questions.
This is something new. So we are not doing rates and charges currently, is that correct? The current funding mechanism is something other than rates and charges, it's per parcel?
Is an allocation per parcel.
Per parcel.
Correct. And this is a new rates and charges that in fact the net result reduces the impact to the property owners.
Okay. As we set this public hearing, is it for approving or reviewing a system of rates and charges for Thurston Conservation District? I know it's a technical little thing, but
The proposed action is for you to implement those rates and charges. So the proposal right now in the public is going to be providing testimony on the potential action that you might take in implementing those rates and charges.
okay. Thank you.
And the term, 5 years, 10 years, whatever, will also be determined post public hearing?
Yeah, right now, again, the proposal from the Thurston Conservation District is to have a 5-year agreement. But certainly, after you hear public testimony, is with it under your purview as to the length of that particular agreement. So yes, that discussion could occur after you receive the public testimony.
Thank you, sir.
Anything else? All right, is there a motion for this?
I move to set a public hearing for Tuesday, October 17, 2017, at 3 p.m., or as soon the matter could be heard, at the Thurston County Courthouse, Building 1, Room 280, to accept and consider public comment on a proposed ordinance relating to the Thurston Conservation District, approving a system of rates and charges for the Thurston Conservation District on properties in those portions of unincorporated Thurston County, the municipalities of Lacey, Olympia, Tumwater, and those portions of the municipalities of Rainier, Tenino, and Yelm within the Thurston Conservation District as of their boundaries established in 1947 for collection in 2018 through 2022.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and so that motion carries. Okay, so I think there's 8B, which is the endorsing of the Thurston Community Economic Alliance Strategic Plan. And I think Romero's going to do that again.
Yeah, thank you again, Commissioners. For your consideration is for you to approve a resolution to endorse the Thurston County the Thurston Community Economic Alliance Strategic Plan. As a matter of background, the Thurston Economic Development Council Board of Directors created the Thurston Community Economic Alliance back in 2016 in order to begin developing a regional strategy for economic development. Thurston County is a member of the Thurston Economic Development Council, and in accordance to RCW 43.330.080, the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners in early 2017 designated the Thurston Economic Development Council as the associated development organization for Thurston County that will be represented from the Department of Commerce. The process of creating the Thurston Economic Alliance Strategic Plan was inclusive of 3 community summits and over 175 interviews from community leaders, stakeholders, and members of the public. The strategic plan coordinates a regional approach to achieve vibrancy in the Thurston region, sets a framework for partnerships, sets guiding principles of effort and priorities. Economic development, infrastructure, and workforce readiness are critical components of the efforts outlined in the Strategic Alliance Plan and are called out as critical for the future and vibrancy of our region. The strategic plan does not supplant organization efforts, replace partnership authority, superimpose goals to other organizations, and propose nor propose a new form of governance. This is just a simple endorsement of this regional plan.
Any questions of Romero on the economic plan?
No. Anything we can do to get our economic engine running?
No.
This will be a good first step, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Yep. No.
No? All right, is there a motion for this?
Move to approve a resolution of the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners endorsing the Thurston Community Economic Alliance Strategic Plan.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and so that motion passes. Okay, so we're at item 8C, which is where commissioners can report back to the board on any of the work sessions or committees they sit on, or just anything in the general public that they've wanted to chat about. Is there anything on your mind?
You know, I guess I'd just comment, one of our bigger battles here locally has been the HCP for the Mazama Pocket Gopher. I would just like to take a minute to point out the Malheur Enterprise, which is a newspaper in Malheur County, Oregon, just south of us, and their budget was $16,000 for eradicating Mazama pocket gophers. And the way they count that is they trap them and clip the tails off, bring them into the appropriate authorities, and they get $1 a piece for those tails. So they've expended more than $16,000 killing 16,000 gophers, and they've run out of money in that budget. And they're perpetually damaging the agricultural fields and irrigation systems. And I would just like the public to know that this particular culprit has never been able to be eradicated. The Department of Agriculture has spent millions of dollars, the Federal Department of Agriculture, attempting to do so, and they have never been successful. Last year at this time, we were talking about expending $150 million of Thurston County's taxpayers' money
to deal with this particular issue when there are many more important issues to deal with. So I just wanted the viewing public to know that it's still of major importance that we fix this problem. Thank you.
Hold that up, show that in the camera so people can see it.
Well, they could go to the Malheur County Enterprise newspaper and pick that up. It was written last month.
All right, cool. Anything else you'd like to talk about?
No, I used up my time. I'll
You
just
got
let
more
it go at that. Thank you.
Okay.
It didn't ding.
No. Do you have something you'd like to?
I do. Before I get into my personal stuff, I'd like to let everybody know that this is the month of October, of course, and it is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I'll read a short email from Shelley Slaughter, the Director of Thurston County Public Health and Social Services. Hence, this is why we're wearing purple, because that's the, but you'll hear this. The month of October has been nationally designated Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Domestic violence is a very important issue to all of us, and this month we will be wearing purple to honor domestic violence survivors in our community and to bring awareness and take action on this issue. Tonight, Commissioner Blake, and I don't know who else might be able to attend who doesn't have a conflict, will be attending the 100 Men Who Care About Domestic Violence. 1 in 4 people in this room have been impacted by domestic violence, and there are many people in our community working together to end domestic violence. We will be featuring this issue and issuing a proclamation at our Board of Health meeting next Tuesday, and encourage everyone to attend to join us in taking a stand against domestic violence. And I would just like to add that in the 35 years of law enforcement, there are countless people that I've arrested for domestic violence, male and female, and would encourage everybody in attendance, but also people watching at home, that if you have been a survivor and you've walked away from this, you'll understand what I'm going to say. And if you're currently in an abusive relationship, remember that walking away from something unhealthy is exceptionally brave. And there are people that you don't even know of that are supportive of you and what you'll be going through and to help with your healing. So thank you for that. And thank you for recognizing this. And on a lighter note, I met with the CIP, that's the Community Investment Partnership. Our executive committee met with the executive committee of Thurston Thrives last week to foster communication and look at some mutual goal expectations and such, and that was a very good meeting. And I met with Community Youth Services and the folks from probation at the Family Justice Center. They have a Seeds of Change program where young kids are growing from seeds. They're growing fruit and vegetables, and harvested this last season 1,100 or 1,500 pounds of food and donated that food to the local food bank. And so working collaboratively with CYS and bringing the Seeds of Change, the probation folks together, they already have a working relationship, but this kind of deepened it a bit because under restorative justice, there are a lot of resources CYS offers the Seeds of Change and vice versa. So that was enlightening last Friday, that meeting. And that is all I have.
By any chance, are you and the prosecutor hosting this thing tonight?
Yeah, you're still on my thunder.
Well, no, I know. I was just going to ask that we put the location out.
I'm about to do that too.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you.
I'm not going to you anymore. Okay, so for what I have to say about the topic at hand, the domestic violence for the month of October, is incredibly powerful in terms of how this community comes together and helps one another. There are organizations, individuals, and just a whole wealth of people out there who open their arms and their heart to helping those who are in an abusive relationship. And tonight is what we call the 100 Men Who Care event. And then Gary's absolutely right. The prosecuting attorney, John Thunheim, the sheriff, John Snaza, and myself, amongst many, many others who will be attending, will make a bold statement to what we eventually will do is eradicate the whole domestic violence here in Thurston County. I wish it could be the nation and the world. I've seen so much craziness in my life, but we'll start here with Thurston County. The 100-man event goes like this. This is our third year, and so we figured 3 years ago, if we get the three years in succession, we have 300 men who've made that statement. And you can imagine how it works out with the math. If you go 6 more years, 9 more years, and whatever the number of years, we're going to continue doing this. And eventually we'll get to every man who is in Thurston County to help bring awareness and education to how to live a nice, wonderful life. Do not have to beat a woman into submission or hold food or medicine or anything like that. There's a lot of learning you have to do. Relationships are not always easy, and don't get into that. But we men, it starts with men standing up first and taking a bold stance, and this is what this statement is about at 100 Men Who Care. In addition to that, I mentioned some of the people who care about it here in Thurston County. Family Support Center and Safe Places, 2 places you can go anytime, 24 hours, 7 days a week, to be able to get any kind of assistance and be warmly received. And we absolutely support them in everything they do in every way we can here from this board and this county. So I invite anybody to come. The location is at 420 Steel Street. You can come tonight or come next year or come anytime. But tonight is at 420 Steel Street, and just come on by, and we'll have you get you on board. So the other thing I'd like to say is that make an announcement that last week I said that this board is being streamed on Facebook. That's not correct. It's being streamed on YouTube. We're super excited about that. We want to reach out in every way possible to bring this live, and so that you can see it as it happens. We believe totally in transparency in terms of what we're doing here for you as a county board of commissions. You can also see it or re-see it on TCTV, where they hosted and have the link and go back and see it and replay it a couple times, but it's not truly live, and we're working on getting that here in the future. Some complications technically to get there, but we're super excited about the new advancement in live streaming on YouTube. So with that in mind, I'll ask, is there anything else? No?
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever.
Because due to your southern accent,
Oh.
I just wanted to let the public know it's Steel Street, S-T-E-E-L-E,
Oh, yeah.
and it's right between Pacific Avenue and Martin Way.
Yeah. Not steel, like.
That's still like a chainsaw,
Yeah. Southern accent.
and that's it.
Okay, what else?
That's good.
Let's see. Is there for county manager have something? Yeah.
On that note, let me walk you through to the events in the upcoming week. And those events are highlighted in your master calendar where at least 2 commissioners are present. You may have individual appointments in your individual calendars, and those will not be reflected in my report today. Starting tomorrow, Wednesday, October 4th, at 11:15 in the morning, you have the opportunity to welcome new employees to the county government. On Thursday, October 5th, at 9 in the morning, you have a Hearst decision follow-up. That's a briefing to continue working on that particular issue. 10 in the morning, you have a commissioner's check-in. I will be publishing an agenda with specific items within. At 11:30, you have invited to the Lot Employee Appreciation Luncheon, and that goes all the way until 1 in the afternoon. At 2 in the afternoon, October the 5th, you have a meeting with the Thurston County School Superintendent. And at 3 in the afternoon, you have your regular Superior Court update. Nothing on Friday, October 6th. And Monday, October 9th, at 1 in the afternoon, you have your first budget work sessions looking into the 2018, as well as start setting the stage for 2019 and 2020 budgets. That's all I have for you. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions for the county manager?
No.
No. All right. That brings us to the point where is there a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chair, I move to adjourn the Board of County Commissioners meeting of October 3rd, 2017.
Second?
It's been moved and second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. We are adjourned.